Hey guys, we're back in the kitchen and we're here for our November video series, cooking series, and we're loading it up. We're doing everything loaded potatoes. So this first video is loaded breakfast potatoes. So I've got some golden potatoes, thin skinned. So I'm not even gonna peel them, which makes this really, really easy. I just kind of made sure there were no eyes on them, washed them real good, and I am thin slicing them with a good knife. So I've got very thin slices. I've got a decent sized little casserole dish here, baking dish. And what I've done, I've already lined, I took my good butter and I greased the whole inside thickly with that butter. And then I've put my thin potatoes in a little ring, kind of like a galette, a potato galette, which you can make in a pan as well, in a skillet. But I'm gonna do it as a casserole. So my first layer is down on top of the buttered pan, and I didn't have green onions like you'd use for a loaded baked potato. I had shallots instead that really I needed to use, so I'm using a shallot. And what's nice about it is it slices up into thin little rings, and it has such a good flavor. It's gonna go down into the potatoes. So I've salted and peppered the first ringed layer all along the bottom, and then I've thinly placed those shallot rings all on top. So I'm gonna do another layer, and I don't wanna get it too thick because we're gonna put an egg mixture to load it up with for breakfast, but I'm actually making breakfast for dinner today. So I'm gonna make another ring, keeping enough room for my egg mixture. Okay, so you need heavy cream for this, so get ready. I'm gonna use that in just a minute. Okay, so I've got my 2 layers of ringed around this pan. I added more shallots rings to the top and salted and peppered the potatoes, that layer. And then what I've done is I've poured some heavy whipping cream over my layers so that it'll thicken it, it'll cream those potatoes, and my egg mixture is gonna sit on top. Now for this size pan, I did 4 eggs and I used my whisk on them. And then I added just about equal parts. Like the 4 eggs went up to about the 1 cup mark. So I added another cup to make 2 cups full. I added a cup of whipping cream to those 4 eggs to make 2 cups. So I'm gonna pour that on top, and that cream that I've already poured down in here is gonna help the egg mixture, quiche-like mixture, sit on top of those potatoes. So we're gonna load this up. In the meantime, I was preheating my oven, and I'm gonna teach you guys a little, or give you a little tip that I do. When I fry bacon, I can't stand for the grease to get everywhere in my kitchen and go up the walls and all that stuff, even though I have a vent. So I fry my bacon in the oven. So I put it on convect at 450. I lined my pan. You can see it here. I'm gonna let you see how awful it looks. I lined my pan with foil. You can do it with parchment if you want, but the foil for me keeps me from having to wash the pan, from it getting really bad. And then I lay a layer of parchment or a layer of foil on top of that, put it in the hot oven, and I literally fry my bacon inside the oven, and that way all that grease stays inside. So it works great. And then all I have to do, sometimes I strain it for the Blackstone, save the grease. And this makes it very easy to do that as well. And then sometimes I just fold it all up and put it in the trash, and I have no mess. So that's my little trick. Okay, so like a loaded baked potato, we are gonna take this bacon, and I'm gonna put a layer of bacon. So I'm gonna have a layer of potatoes with some onions, those shallots. And you can use green onion, chives, whatever. I'm gonna go out to the garden and get some chives for the top of my casserole for when it comes out of the oven. And I'm also gonna use a little sour cream on it so that it really is like a loaded baked potato. Okay, so I've got a layer of bacon sprinkled. I've saved some for the top. I'm now gonna pour this egg mixture on top. And again, that heavy cream is gonna help this egg sit like a layer on top of these potatoes. And I've done I hope the right amount so that I don't have it bubble over in my oven, but I am gonna put it on a cookie sheet to keep that from happening, because I don't want to mess in my oven. That's why I layer that foil on top of the bacon so I end up with no mess. And now I'm gonna take some cheese. I've got some good Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna layer that on top of my egg mixture. And then I'm gonna put this in a 375 oven. It's gonna close, I'm just gonna watch it because this is a smaller size than I normally do. So I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on it. But I know that it needs to bake at least 45 minutes to an hour to cook those potatoes good and the egg. All right. Okay, it's literally baked for 1 hour. It's nice and crispy on top. And I've got nice layers of potatoes with cream. My whole house smells delicious. So I've scooped out a big slice of it here on the plate. And I have crispy bacon as if it was a loaded baked potato. I'm gonna scatter some of that on top. A little sour cream on top of that. Some chive, fresh chive from the yard. I still had some, the frost hadn't gotten it. A couple more. So this is the finished product. And we've got our egg in there, so it's loaded baked potatoes for breakfast. We're having breakfast for dinner on this Monday evening. So let me get a bite with each of the ingredients that a loaded baked potato would have on it. That's the best loaded baked potato I've ever eaten. You can't go wrong with creamy Yukon potatoes. They're nice and buttery and creamy, and heavy whipping cream, sour cream, bacon, and chives. That is so good. All right, thanks for joining us. Next week is bougie hash browns.